Peace, peace. All right, peace, peace, peace. Let's see what's going on. About to hop on Insight Timer in a couple seconds. Just bear with me, y'all. Everybody who's watching this live or watching it in the future, bear with me for a second. I'm about to just hop on this other live stream real quick. Hope y'all doing good. Hope y'all feeling blessed. Just give me a couple seconds here. I want to shout out to everybody who has been supporting my book, Easy, A Guide to Mindfulness and Meditation. It's a book that teaches meditation to kids 8 to 12. You can get a copy at www.devinmccrory.com. That's DEVINMCCROREY.com. All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Let's see who's here tonight. Let's see who's going to join us tonight. We got a good signal. We got good energy. Matter of fact, let me light my candles real quick. Set my vibe. I'm not going to be long. Will be strong. Not going to take up too much of your time. But I do want to do this real quick. We're going to wait a couple of minutes to see who's going to join us. If you're coming in, say hello, say peace and blessings, say aloha, say ashe, say assalamu alaikum, say hotep, however you greet. Come on in. Lisa, hello, how are you? Glad that you're here, glad that you joined us. We're going to wait a couple of minutes before we begin. Wait to see who else rolls in. We usually get started at about the 7-minute mark. But I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're here early. How was your day, Lisa? Day was busy. Okay. Yeah, hopefully it was good busy, like productive busy. Hopefully it wasn't stressful busy. I hope not. But yeah, my day was blessed. My day was amazing because as I've mentioned in this live stream before, I just moved down here to Maryland from Connecticut. And Connecticut, productive and blessed, that's good. Yeah, Connecticut, around this time of year, we still be getting snow, but it's nice and warm down here. I think today was close. It was like 65 degrees or something like that. So went outside. I didn't have no coat on or nothing. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this warmth and this sunshine. I only had to shovel snow once this year. Only once. Then another time it snowed, but the snow melted. So I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I do not miss them big snowstorms. 70 were you in Mississippi? Jay, peace. What's going on? Melissa, 86 in Arizona. Oh wow. Oh man. So that's right where I start getting a little uncomfortable. Okay, Jackson. All right. I gotta make it down there one of these days. I was just talking to somebody about good places to go hiking. They mentioned a couple of states like in that area. And was saying they got like real beautiful hiking areas to go to. So one of these days I'll pack up and take my sons, go on a nice drive. She mentioned a place in West Virginia. I'm gonna visit there first. We'll go for a nice walk there. Thank you very much. And before we even begin, let me just say thank you guys for joining me tonight. Um, Last week I wasn't here on Wednesday. I forgot what it was that happened. I forgot what happened exactly, but I think last week Wednesday, I think something came up and I couldn't do it, so I didn't schedule. But this week I'm glad to be back. This week I'm glad to be back. I think this is going to be a really good conversation. And like I was saying, for those just coming in, we'll start at about the 7 minute mark. In the meantime, in between time, we're just doing a check in, make sure everybody's good. Melissa, how are you? Jay, how are you? Jackie, hello. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody feels good. Maisia, Jay, you feeling good? I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Hopefully everybody's still healthy, still safe. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Video? Is the video not good? Maisha? Can everybody see the video and hear me okay? Just let me know. Okay. Or the video is bad. Anybody else having issues with the video? I'm getting a good signal. The video is a little blurry. It could be because I got my light off. Not sure. Video is a little blurry. Okay. Yeah, it says I'm getting a good signal. I'm getting a good signal here. It seems like most people can see okay. Oh, you watching the YouTube? Okay. You see my one thing I'm happy about for the last like couple of months, my face was getting chubby. I usually gain weight in my face first. So I had the fat baby face. But my face slimming down a little bit. I guess because it's getting warm out, so I'm a little more active. So that's one thing I'm happy about. My face don't look as crazy and fat as it was looking the last few weeks. That's always good news. Do I shave? Usually I try I do like a little shape up with a straight razor. But I'm trying to grow my beard up a little bit. And then I'll grow it up and then I'll be like, "Oh, you can't see my face." And then I'll cut it back down and then I'll get mad and grow it back up again. It's a never ending cycle. Like if my hair is cut low, I haven't had it cut this low in a long time. Now I want to grow it back again. It's never happy. Always like, oh, I should do this. I don't know. That's my one vanity. Is my facial hair. That's my one vanity. All right, we're getting close to that 7 minute mark. So let's buckle our seatbelts. Let's get ready to go in. I'm glad you guys are here. My favorite food, I hate to admit it, is hot wings. I've done the vegetarian thing, I've done the vegan thing, and I always relapse for hot wings. Every single time. But anyhow, let's get started. My notes are all over the place. Usually I'll have my notes very neat and well organized. My notes are crazy tonight. This is a conversation that I wanted to have with you guys, but it's just so much that I want to say. So much that I want to get out, so much that I want to express. So my mind is going to be all over the place. So if I get a little too crazy and start giving you all my theories, and it sounds like I'm losing my mind, y'all could just text and just type in slow down, or say shut up. You say it in a nice way. Say, whoa, slow down. And that'll let me know I'm going too far, I'm going too wacky. But yeah, today we're going to discuss the concept of I am. For those of y'all who are unfamiliar, in the Hebrew Bible, there's a story about Moses, who was one of the major prophets of the Hebrew Bible. He was a young Israelite boy who his mother had to tie him up in a basket and send the basket floating down the river to be discovered by an Egyptian princess. So Moses was raised as an Egyptian, even though he was an Israelite. His people, the Israelite people were being oppressed by the ancient Egyptians. And he was raised in the house of an ancient Egyptian. So you can imagine the conflict that was happening within him. One day, Moses was a young man, young, strong, hot-headed, and he saw an Egyptian man beating an Israelite. So he killed the Egyptian and had to go flee in the wilderness. As he was living in the wilderness, he took up residence with a man named Jethro, and Jethro had a beautiful Israelite daughter named no, she wasn't. I think she was Ethiopian, but her name was Zipporah. So he married this beautiful young woman. They had children. They had families. They had a family, and then one day Moses, who was taking care of the flock of Jethro, was out in the wilderness with his sheep, and he saw a fire. Saw a huge fire coming out of a burning bush, but the bush wasn't being consumed in the fire, which was baffling to him. Imagine you see this big, huge fire. It's hot, it's massive, but the bush is not burning. The bush is fine. That's interesting. So he says, I'm going to go aside and have a look at this. I'm going to look at this fire. And in the fire, he hears a voice speaking and saying, Moses, Moses. So Moses go over and he says, here I am. And as he's approaching the bush says, oh, the fire in the bush says to him, don't come any closer. This is holy ground. Take off your shoes. So Moses takes off his shoes and falls down to the ground, and he's afraid to look. He's afraid to look because this being, whatever it was terrifying. It was bright. It was beautiful. It was scary to him. Imagine you hear a voice coming out of burning flame in the middle of nowhere and nobody else is around. You'd be a little scared too. And it says in the Bible, when it describes that part, it says he was afraid to look at God. So this was not just a flame, not just an evil spirit or a spook or a jinn or, whatever you would call it. This was God speaking to him. And God says to him, I know you're an Israelite. I appeared to your ancestors. I appeared to Jacob. I appeared to Joseph. I appeared to Israel. I appeared to all of your ancestors. And now I want you to go be sent by my word to free your people from their imprisonment in Egypt. And Moses is nervous and he's afraid. And he says, well, hold on. I can barely speak. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I'm not smart. I'm not educated. How am I going to go into Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let your people go? And who am I going to say sent me? Who are you? And then God replies and says, I am that I am. Now we translate that phrase, I am that I am, to Jehovah. The original word that was used was a 4-letter word for God. Yod-Heh-Wad-Heh. Yahweh. YHWH, which we translate as I am that I am. That word, I've read about it and been reading about it for a very long time. First of all, in the ancient Hebrew religion, the name of God was so holy that you would not be allowed to speak it. You wouldn't be allowed to speak it out loud. So this is the name for a being that was so powerful and so revered you couldn't speak his name, right? And then we have those letters, Yod-Heh-Wad-Heh. We see what those letters are, but we don't know how to pronounce it. We really don't know how to pronounce it. And we really don't know how to translate it. But we know that that name, Yod-Heh-Wad-Heh, has something to do with being. I've read some individuals who translated it as I am the I am, he who causes to become, a variety of ways to translate that. There's something in that word that has something to do with being or causation, right? So he is the one who causes to become. Now, as their relationship progresses, Moses has these conversations with God, and he's like, he gets confused and he gets thrown around and he gets bashed and he gets tossed out of the palace by Pharaoh. And it seems like everything's going wrong. And he keeps coming back to God, and God just keeps telling him, I am the I am. And he said, I've never revealed my name to any of your predecessors or any of your ancestors. This is the first time I'm coming to you, telling you this. This is the first time I'm coming to anybody saying what my name is. That's my name. I am. Why is that so important? What does that mean? Well, let's think about it. What does I am mean? I am just means I am. I exist. It just means I exist. Now, that's very important because in meditation, they teach you that you must learn how to simply be. Once you learn how to be, everything else moves how it's supposed to move. But we have so much trauma that we're triggered by things. We have a reaction to everything that happens around us. It's hard for us to set ourselves free because we don't know how to just be. Your body is naturally in tune with nature. And your mind is throwing up all these illusions and harboring all these memories, and you have all this trauma, and it's hard to just be. But once you learn how to calm the mind down and see beyond the mind to a state of pure consciousness, once you enter into that state of pure consciousness and learn how to just be, you'll realize you tap into your real power. That's the mystery. Yes, the burning bush, yes. That's the mystery. The mystery is that when you learn how to see beyond mind and enter into a state of pure consciousness and learn how to just be, that is when you come into a state of divinity. That's when you learn how to tap into the power that exists inside you. And those two words, I am, that is the key to unlock the mystery that is you. I always say God is not a mystery. We are the mystery. The key is not always to find God. The key is to find you. That's the real journey. It's really about how can you find you. You must become the I am. You must learn how to enter into a state of pure being when you can tap into consciousness, pure consciousness. Consciousness without the trauma, without the fear, the pain, without you being anxious over the future or without you ruminating over the past. Once you learn how to just be in a state of I am, that is the power that lies within you. That name, Yahweh, it also could mean he who calls us to become, or the one who calls us to become. You have to see that power within yourself. You have the ability to make things happen. But you have to have what they call an internal locus of control. You got to see that you have the power to do these things. How do you get that power? I am. Simply say, I am. And when you say I am, you're unlocking the potential to become what you want to be. He who calls us to become. You can become whatever you want. Think about it. Your thoughts can make you sick. If your thoughts are dark enough, it raises your cortisol. If your thoughts are stressful enough, it raises your cortisol level, tenses up your muscles, raises your blood pressure. And if you're in that state long enough, just from thinking, you can make your body physically ill. You can weaken your immune system, make it sick. When I was really going through depression, when I was younger, I was sick all the time. I caught every cold, every flu. I would go through insomnia. My body would be weak. I was causing to become. Now, if we have the power to do that in a negative fashion, you also have the power to do that in a positive fashion. We have to stop making it seem as if all we can do is destroy ourselves. But once you tap into the I am and learn how to complete that sentence with something positive, you can become whatever you want. He who causes to become, that's you. It says that when Moses first saw the angel in the burning bush, or that was a representation of God, he was afraid to look at it because he was afraid to look at God. How many of us are afraid to look at ourselves? That's really what the story is about. It's about Moses uncovering his own power. That's why the whole thing is about him learning how to have faith, learning how to have faith in himself. The story of Exodus, if you read the story, what really blew my mind was the fact that the whole thing is about his relationship with God, but it's really about his relationship with himself. He kept saying, I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure. I don't know how. I'm not smart. I can't speak eloquently. But then God told him, I will make a God of thee. And Moses had to eventually learn how to become I am. And as a matter of fact, it got to the point where his downfall became, he has so much confidence in himself. He started taking glory into himself and went a little bit too far. But that's the real character arc of the story. Moses had to learn how to put faith in himself. It wasn't about his faith in God. He had to put faith in himself because everything he was saying was really just about him. Why would you choose me? There's so many parts of the story. Like when God first sends him to go speak to Pharaoh. Pharaoh, he says, Pharaoh, let my people go for 3 days so we can go out into the wilderness and sacrifice to our God and worship our God. And Pharaoh was like, nah. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to punish you guys. We're going to work you guys harder than ever, and we're not going to provide you with what you need to get the job done. So Moses comes out of the palace after speaking to Pharaoh. The soldiers at the palace are mad at him, yelling at him, screaming at him, like, how dare you speak to the Pharaoh in this way? And then Moses' own people, they're yelling at him and screaming at him, how could you do this? And then he goes to God. He's like, God, like, what's going on? He's confused. He don't know what's going on. He don't trust himself. He don't know how to speak well. He has no confidence. And then God has to keep telling him, like, you can do this. God told him multiple times in the story, I will make a god of you. He said to Aaron, who was Moses' brother, he says to Aaron, you will be a god. So Moses was worried he couldn't speak well. God said, your brother Aaron is a priest. He speaks very well. So I'll give you the words and the knowledge. You put the words into him. He'll articulate it perfectly. And to him, you'll be a god. He'll be your prophet. So God is telling him, I'm making a god of you. I'm making you divine. That's what the story is about. It's about the process of tapping into his divinity. God was trying to crack open his mind, because within the mind, there was all this divine power. But the outer surface of the mind, the conscious mind, the shell of the mind, was all this self-doubt, all this insecurity. Imagine growing up being an Israelite in a house in Pharaoh's palace. Imagine your insecurity in that situation. You don't quite fit in with the people in the palace. You don't fit in with the Israelites. You're a man without a home. So imagine always feeling like you're out of place, feeling like you don't fit in. Imagine how crushing that was to his sense of self. Imagine how crushing that had to be for him. He wasn't raised amongst his people. He's raised amongst individuals who hate his people, and therefore, by extension, he had to be aware that they hated him. If they had found out his true identity, it would have been a wrap for him. So the whole process of the story, the whole point of the story is to learn I am. How to cause to become by simply being I am. When Moses just shut the hell up and just moved in alignment with universal law, with the principles of the universe, with God's law, when he did that, all of a sudden he became successful. He successfully led the people out of bondage, successfully brought them out into the wilderness, provided them with food, provided them with honey, provided them with manna falling out of the sky. Everything you want is out there for you. But you got to learn how to just quiet the mind and go into a state of complete unity with universal principles. I am is Tao. What is Tao? There's a book called the Tao Te Ching, the book of the way. The Tao is the way. What does that mean? The Tao just means the way things operate, the principles by which things operate, the energy force that sustains everything in the universe, and the laws of the universe, and the principles that hold everything together. That's the Tao. And if you read the Tao Te Ching, it's interesting because the writer of the book is a very wise person, but he keeps referring to himself in certain passages as dumb. I am dumb. I am not learned. What does he mean by that? What he's saying is, I'm not thinking. I'm a vessel for the Tao. So it's like I'm dumb. I don't have to think. I'm just floating through this because the principles of the universe are guiding me. I don't have to resist. I don't have to plot. I don't have to plan. I don't have to scheme. Nature takes care of everything. So once I clear my mind, become dumb, right? I can tap into the power of I am, or tap into the power of the Tao. The Tao is this vast, infinite force, right, in the universe that made everything and sustains everything. We're not in opposition to that. We see ourselves in opposition to that. We see ourselves as being in opposition to circumstance. But no, if you learn how to work and flow with circumstance, everything you want will be given to you. That's Tao. That's Taoism. That's I am. Learn to stop fighting within yourself. Learn how to stop having this conflict with yourself and learn to just be. I am. And those two words, just that state of being, is powerful in and of itself. It frees you. It frees you. So you can tap into your own power. There's a poem that I read in a book. There's an old fantasy book I read when I was a kid called The Book of the Three Dragons, written by this theosophist named Kenneth Morris. It is beautiful. And when I read it when I was a kid, nobody knew about it. Now, all of a sudden, I'm older. I want to buy a copy of it. You can't find a copy of it anywhere. I think it costs like $1,000 now, because now it was considered to be like a rare fantasy classic. But there's a poem in it called the Hymn to the Three Dragons. And the final part of it says, there's a poem to a dragon named Elayun. And Elayun is a dragon whose power is music, right? And there's a beautiful part where he says, where my Elayun harper plays, what wonders fill the night and days, what systems and what sons are born, what sanctity broods in the morn, what holiness pervades in the gray of the fiery hearted passing of day. Blessed is he through whose mind grown dumb the rippling chords in glory come, who hath no thought motions of his own, but that deep music of the unknown, which midmost space and time and things, my alien harper harping sings to men and mountain, star and cloud grow great with dreams, and the dreams are God. He learned the I am. The beauty of the music quieted the thought motions, allowed him to just be, and then enter into a state of divinity and learn to just be one with the I am, to just be. What does it mean to just be? There's a very famous Islamic Sufi philosopher named Ibn Arabi. He says that everything is in the universe is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. The only reality is God. God is being itself. And the goal of the Sufi is what they call annihilation. Annihilation means I totally disappear. I get so close to God, I disappear. And the only thing that's left is God in me. That state of oneness, that is what I am is. When people meditate and they talk about the universe being one and feeling connected to everything, that's a real feeling. In intense states of meditation, there's a part of your brain called the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe will shut down in intense states of meditation. The parietal lobe is the part of your brain that lets you know where you are and where you stand in three-dimensional space. So I can feel this table because of my parietal lobe. I can walk around because of my parietal lobe. I know the floor is beneath me, the ceiling is above me. I know where I am in this space because of the parietal lobe. I know where my body is because of the parietal lobe. But when that shuts down, you feel infinite, like there are no boundaries. It's a very real feeling. And when you learn how to tap into the I am and experience that, you'll be amazed at how many doors that you thought were locked will open up for you. It's amazing how many things you think you can accomplish that you can accomplish because you tap into the divine within yourself. And you do it every day anyway. We just don't realize it because we've been trained to utilize our power for negativity. So we say things like, I am tired. I am broke. I am sick. You know, I am afraid. I am nervous. I am stressed out, right? That's the I am we use. And what happens? We use that magical term and unlock the power within us, and then all these negative, horrible things manifest inside of us, right? We don't mind saying I am when it's something that's going to destroy us, but when it's something powerful and beautiful, we've been taught to doubt ourselves so much. We got this. We are Moses. In that story, you are both Moses and God in that story. You're both. You are yourself trying to learn how to believe and have faith and confidence in you. And at the same time, you're trying to enter into a state of I am. That mystery. That mystery and that power. But the mystery is you. Not up there in the sky. The mystery is you. God is not a mystery. You look around you everywhere. Everything you see around you is a manifestation of the divine power that we call God, the forces of the universe, however you want to phrase it. Because that term God, a lot of people don't like that term anymore. Right? But however you want to phrase it, all that is everything you see that's manifest, that's God right there. You see it already. You know God or that force or whatever you want to call it is real because everything around you is real. Problem solved. Debate over with. The only thing you doubt is you. The only thing you've been trained to doubt is you. You can't doubt this wall. You know, this wall was built by somebody. You can't doubt the sun. The sun is there. The forces of the universe put that there. What do we call these forces? We call these forces God. But the interesting thing about God, and this is probably one of the reasons why I use that term carefully, is because God comes from an old Germanic word, goat. What does goat mean? Goat is a verb. It means to call forth. So this thing that you call God comes from that German word, goat, call forth. God is a verb. For me, God is a verb. God is something that you do, something you manifest. It's an action. It ain't supposed to be something passive and it just floating around in the daggone sky. I don't know where people got this idea from. But God is a state of being and a consciousness, which is being itself. And then once we learn how to tap into these higher levels of consciousness, we can become the I am and make these things happen and change. You can literally change yourself. If you can change yourself and make yourself sick with a thought, you can heal yourself with a thought. I am well. Say it. I am healthy. I am safe. I am loved. I am successful. I am rich. Say it. But just like Moses, you have to learn how to stop doubting yourself. Moses would always, oh, I'm not a good speaker. I can't speak. Same thing with you. You're telling yourself, I can't say that. That's not true. I can't say I'm rich. That's not true. I can't say I'm in a healthy relationship. That's not true. Just like Moses, you doubting yourself. But didn't God tell Moses, I will make a God of thee? I'll make a God of thee. You'll be like a God to Aaron, and Aaron will be your prophet. That's what he said. That's what the God in the Bible said. He said, I'll make a God of you. Right? Jesus Christ. He even says, is it not written that ye are gods? When they talk about archangels, what are they talking about? Well, angels and archangels are talking about gods. And we can get into that too a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the order of Melchizedek. One night I might break down my theories about the order of Melchizedek in the Bible. We'll do that later. Right now, let's stick with the I am. I am. Yod He Wad He. If you take the letters to the Hebrew letters to the name of God, Yod He Wad He, stack them on top of each other, it looks like a person. Interesting, right? That's interesting. And if you read and study about the Bible and stuff, there's a lot of people who say the Bible has a hidden message, a mathematical code in it, and every letter means something, every word means something. Break down the name of God. Break that down. It's interesting. It's really interesting. And it's also interesting because you start realizing that all the books of the Bible were written by people. And if you believe the Bible is literal history, then that means that there were people who were literally having these experiences. And if you think it's metaphorical and symbolic, okay, then that means that you have the potential to have these experiences. These are symbols for something in you. So what is it? What is it in you? What is it in you that the ancient scholars and the teachers and the priests, what is it in you that they were trying to unleash? Because that's the whole point of a religion. A religious culture is based upon the idea of trying to pull something out. God, go to call forth. What are they trying to call forth? What do y'all think? What do you think that these religions are trying to call forth? You got all these individuals using all these instruments, looking at the movement of the stars and the patterns of the stars. They got these different ceremonies. They got these different symbols, these different signs, these sigils. They got magic. They got different spiritual sciences. Rachel, I was talking about Melchizedek. Yeah, Melchizedek is interesting. Melchizedek is interesting. I want to break it down so bad one of these days. But I got to do a little more. I had a book years ago because I wanted to learn about the tribe, about the order of Melchizedek. And I actually bought a book about the order of Melchizedek and I read it. And I was like, at the time, I thought that I had so much knowledge. I was like, I don't need this book. Then I lost it. Now I can't find it nowhere. I don't know where the book ended up at. But it was a book written, it was a group of individuals. I used to go to this bookstore. They would sell old pamphlets because back in the day, you would have these various groups who would teach people and reach people in the streets by passing out pamphlets. So they had these pamphlets from individuals they had these little secret societies and little secret teaching groups from the 1930s, the 1920s. So I think that pamphlet was from like the 1930s. It was like maybe 20 pages long. It was a group called the Order of Melchizedek. I swear I wish I had kept that book. I don't know where that book at now. But yeah, Melchizedek is an interesting guy. Because Melchizedek, we'll talk about it a little bit. One thing nobody ever talks about Melchizedek, Melchizedek knew God. That's the thing. Because when you read the Bible talks about how Abraham was like the first one that God spoke to. And he made a promise to Abraham that his children would be like, he would have a special covenant with God. His children and his descendants have a special covenant with God. But in the book of Genesis, you see Melchizedek, and Melchizedek is a high priest. He's a priest to the Most High. So that means that before Abraham even knew who God was, Melchizedek already knew who God was. He was a high priest to the Most High. So that means Melchizedek already knew who he was. So the order of Melchizedek already existed. They were the ones who were going around teaching about the Elohim. What's the Elohim? The Elohim is God. That's what they called God before God revealed his name to be Yod-Heh-Wad-Heh. So Melchizedek had a secret society that was teaching people this spiritual science. If you read in the Bible, it talks about Jesus Christ. It says Jesus Christ is a high priest in the order of Melchizedek. So they had this secret group that was teaching this knowledge, and some of it was stuff that people couldn't handle. And then one of my theories is, this is my theory, is that these people who you see in the Bible, read about in the Bible, religion is man trying to control the divine instead of just flowing with the divine. So people put a curling to the power. I agree. I agree. I definitely think religion is man trying to control the divine. I definitely agree with that. But man is divine. Man must control himself. But I don't believe in a religion, though. I just find a lot of this really fascinating because I think that at the core of all of the religions, there is a wellspring of truth that people misinterpret behind the symbol. But it gets lost in the symbolism, gets lost in the history, lost in the allegory. So people make religions of it. But, I always believe that there's been one small group of individuals who know the truth. They try and teach it, then it gets turned into a religion, and then they got to move on, and the same thing just keeps happening. That's why in ancient Kemet, you hear, ancient Kemet, you see Krest. Krest is a mummy, a body prepared for resurrection, right? And then you get Krishna in India, and then you get Christ, and then you get Kadesh. So I think all these groups are going from one place to another, just teaching spiritual knowledge. Read it to 5%, yes, indeed. Absolutely. And they've been going around trying to give people knowledge just for people to take it and religify it and drop the ball. But that's just my theory. We going way off course now. I told y'all to tell me when I was going off course. I told y'all to say, yo, you talking too much. Be quiet. Slow down. I said I was going to talk about Melchizedek another day. Y'all got me talking about Melchizedek and giving you my Melchizedek theories. Let me stop. But going back to what I was saying, I want y'all to sorry, Rachel. I want y'all to get into the habit of saying I am. Sometimes I just want you to say I am. Whenever you need to feel grounded, I am. Whenever you feel like you're being overwhelmed, I am. God, to call forth, call that energy forth to you right in the moment. I am peace. But before we even get to I am peace, because I was gonna say that as well. I was gonna say follow up I am with something positive, but I want y'all to start with just saying I am, because that's the thing with us. We are human beings, but we're really humans doing. You always got to be doing something, and being caught up in this constant movement and getting all these experiences and all this external stimulation, it throws us off. Thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate it, Audrey. It throws us off, right? So let's learn how to master just being. I'm just going to be. And then once you do that, you'll be surprised at how quickly just learning how to be, learning how to say I am, and you just tap into a different level of consciousness just from that. Then once you tap into that different level of consciousness, then you can become self-created and say I am peace, I am happiness, I am joy. Well, let's master just say I am. Jay, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Let's just practice what I am, and just leave it at that. For like a week, for 5 minutes a week, just sit and just say I am, with no real job, no real assignment, and you'll be. I'm telling you, you'll tap into a different way of thinking fast. Your body will start to change. Your mind will start to change. Call forth that energy by just learning how to be, and just learning how to be when the mind is still. Whew, when the mind is still, you tap into the Tao. You tap into this force that we call God, this energy we call. You tap into it, because all the hectic energy of the mind, the perversion, the lust, the anger, the greed, all that's blocking out the God energy. But if you learn how to just sit and control yourself, that lowers your level of stimulation. Lowering your level of stimulation lowers the level of brain activity, and all of a sudden, you start to have all these experiences, beautiful experiences, amazing experiences. Moses was out in the wilderness; nobody else was around. He and believe it, and this is what happened. He was in the wilderness alone, nobody to talk to. His level of stimulation was severely reduced. His mind was in a state of peace, and then he saw God. Same thing with Jacob in the book of Genesis. He went out to the is a scripture that actually says Jacob went out into the field to meditate. And as soon as he went out to the field to meditate, all of a sudden all this other stuff started happening. Angels, everything started appearing. When Jacob became Israel and he fought with God, he was in the wilderness by himself. Nobody else was around. His mental stimulation, his levels of mental stimulation were reduced, and all of a sudden he saw God. And the place where he saw God, they call it pineal, because that was the place he saw God face to face. And don't you got a pineal gland in your skull? These are the ancient teachings. That's what it all come down to. The Bible says no man has seen God and lived. You're not gonna see no God until you can see it within you. Only God can see God. Quran, wow, yeah. So I'm telling you. That's what they was trying to tell everybody. That's what Melchizedek was trying to. I ain't gonna go into all that. But I believe that's what these ancient dudes with these different groups were trying to get people to tap into that, but people weren't ready for it. Still not ready for it. So it went from Melchizedek to Abraham, from Abraham to his descendants, then it went to Jesus Christ. He was trying to wake the people up. That ain't worked. Then it went to the Prophet Muhammad, and that ain't worked. They turned his words into a religion. Then it came to the West with the Nation of Islam. It came to the West with the Nation of Gods and Earths, with the Moor Science Temple, the Nuwapians, and people kept religifying it, and it still kept going wrong. We had an order of Melchizedek over here in the West. We had a movement called Astara, something like that, led by a lady named Erlene Cheney. There's a woman running around right now calling herself the Shekinah in California. She's trying to do the same thing. Drop this knowledge, help people tap into their own divinity. And then somebody gonna come along and take their words and religify it, and they can get lost again. That's what this is all about. It's about individuals trying to figure out the way that you can give human beings a certain level of knowledge where they can accept it and tap into their own divinity without turning it into a religion. But people have a tendency of religion is valuable. Religion is a good tool for control. So individuals who want to control things will always turn, even simple things. Football has become a religion. You got people debating football. Like in the Bible, it says people will stand outside of synagogues and debate the law. Now you got individuals debating football. They made a religion out of it. They made a religion out of government. Once you religify something, you make it control so easy. When you turn something spiritual, you can't control the spirit. You can only move in harmony with the spirit. But a person who believes in a religion, who believes in the external spirit without being concerned about the internal spirit, that's a person who's easy to control. But then when you see God face to face, and this is activated, pineal, can't control that person. That's why you had individuals. Salute. You had individuals who would die. Yeah, you're right. Useful for making money. Yeah, of course. If you could manifest anything, you could definitely manifest some money. And I'm not one of them individuals who believes in poverty. I believe that if you righteous, you should have enough. The universe provides abundance. So once you tap into the universe, that abundance will be a part of that. Wow. That was fun. That was real fun. My notes was all over the place. I thought I would have a hard time bringing it all together. I think I did okay. Hopefully y'all think I did okay. But yeah, I'm about to wrap up now. I said this talk will take about 45 minutes. We about close to the 45-minute mark. Before I go, I just want to say peace and blessings to all of you guys. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. I'm definitely gonna be back again next Wednesday. And yeah, thank you for the donations. Just be, that's it. I am. That's it. Once you master that, then everything else will flow perfectly. Peace and blessings to all y'all. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all to life. In the words of Professor Griff, y'all have a good night. All right. Peace. Much love. Much love.